responsible for the product management of HMI, of mobile HMI at the Austrian-based company KEBA. I've been doing this for more than 10 years, and today I would like to present our view and our possibilities how to integrate our products into different situations. I would like to start very soft, very slowly, with the explanation of how we see mobile machine operation and which different fields of applications we see there. Then we would like to present you the product overview, what solutions we can provide. That's a basket, a set of different possibilities of product and of accessories, and those together then provide the best solution for your integration solution. And with some examples, I would like to tell you how some integration possibilities are, some typical situations, what we see on the market, then some use cases, and then the question and answer sessions. So let's start how to see a machine operating system. In this case, a stationary machine. So we are talking about an interface, about the interface between the human and the machine. And what are we doing there? We typically do something around the control of the production and optimization. We do some changes, some optimization, but also we want to know what the machine is doing, how the machine is doing, and we want to learn from that and get better, and in total have assurance about the given quality. And our product portfolio, KTOP, is a solution which covers stationary and mobile devices. In the stationary devices, we have 10-inch and upwards up to 24-inch devices, and on the mobile devices, we cover the display, the screen size below that. So the goal is that the operator on the machine has the best solution for his machine and for his need, whether it's a large machine, whether there are many different machines, or it's a robot operation. The idea is that typically there is a stationary, in many cases, a stationary operation, but on some areas of the machine, especially when the machines are larger, then in many cases a mobile operation as well is needed. Sometimes the situation is that there is only one worker for more machines or for a very large machine, and then it makes maybe sense to provide different connection points. And on those different connection points, it's important that the operator gets the right information what he is doing there, and the location of that connection point is given to the application, and then the application can decide on that. There are different connection possibilities. It's a fixed connection, it's a connection with a push-pull connector that the plugging in and plugging out is very quickly done, and even with a solution where the safety signals are bridged. So all the mobile operating panels come with a e-stop, the red button, what you see on the devices, and an enabling device. Those safety functions, especially the e-stop on a running machine, always needs to work, so it needs to be bridged when you unplug the device. So our goal is to provide this set of different solutions, and on the pictures you see examples of some devices, landscape and portrait, with different application examples. And generally we have the situation that the operator needs to work directly on the machine, whether it's a robot, whether it's a classic machine or a production line. He there uses the device as a teach pendant for setting up, and of course there he needs to have the safe operation mode. But as well, sometimes he does not do an operation, he just wants to perform some monitoring tasks. He needs to read some manuals, some PDFs, some instructions about the next steps, and therefore you need a capable device, in many cases a Windows operating system where you run different applications. So the goal and the idea is that the device can not only run the machine, the local machine application. The idea is that on the device also other applications maybe run. So basically the approach is to have one HMI to cover all the tasks around the machine. And with that, we give the main tool into the hand of the operator in order to have everything what he needs on site. He can be guided where to go next. He has the possibility of mixing safe and non-safe operation. And the basic idea is that the automation degree of machines is increasing and the number of operators on site on the machine is decreasing. And so the big question is, with this automation level increasement, the question is, where are the workers? And the question is, how much HMI really is needed? And therefore the cost aspect issues are starting to come into place. And with that a situation where you have connection points for different machines, but not terminals for each machine comes into place. So the idea is that not in all cases, but sometimes it could be possible that there is one operating terminal per worker, per operator, and not per machine or per robot. But for that, a solution, as I briefly mentioned before, a hot plug solution is basically needed. And some other thing comes into place. It is the topic of that the machines typically have different interfaces, different communication possibilities, and different communication protocols, drivers, different PLCs. So the HMI solution in this case needs to be open to a large set of different PLCs, different controllers. And our goal is to provide such a PLC neutral device, and a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But I give now some ideas where such a device could be needed, and I try to briefly summarize here the use cases where we typically see where mobile HMIs are used. So from the life journey of a machine, it's the setting into operation, the commissioning of the machine, the early phase. There are in many cases HMI is needed, and in that period the HMI is needed very intensively, maybe the full day. But then later, when the machine is into production, and in many cases HMI tasks can only be performed when the machine is not running. It's a little bit different from case to case, but in the production, the machine should produce and no adjustments should be done, but only when needed. So it depends on the stopping time of the machine. Can be a consideration that the HMI remains on the machine, or in order to save HMI cost a little bit, to switch it between different machines. In this case, a hot plug solution would be interested. When the machine is stopped, of course, for service and maintenance tasks, changing tools, changing components, these are very, very typical use cases for mobile HMI. On very large machines, as mentioned before, in addition to stationary panels, there are still many times the solution that one operator works on a stationary panel, and the second helper operator is some meters away, checking the position of the machine, and they speak to each other what the operator at the stationary terminal should do. In order to avoid that, in order to reduce the working personnel, mobile panels are used, and sometimes even to even to replace the stationary terminals. So this gives you a short overview about the different use cases of mobile HMI operations. And now, very quickly, the main three devices what we can offer here, and what most customers are choosing for tasks where you operate the whole day on specially dedicated for robots. We provide a 7-inch portrait format device, and for more general purpose situations, the 10-inch devices. And in this case, again, the portrait format, the T150 10-inch device with PCT. This portrait device is mainly for collaborative robots in the robot area, and the T155, the T155 10-inch landscape device, mainly used for machine operation. High resolution, good flexibility in terms of processor capacity is important, different storage capacities, and in order to be open for many different solutions, we provide the Windows 10 IoT operating system as an embedded solution in order that the security concerns are solved and encapsulated. The big advantage here is that basically 95% of all applications can be run under Windows 10, and of course also many applications are run as HMI applications are run on browser-based HTML5. Of course, we know that on Windows 10 the largest set of browsers are available. But browsers is not only the only situation or solution of integrating an HMI. We frequently see VNC or remote desktop connections. Of course, there are dedicated native solutions for HMI applications. Such clients can be run as well on those devices, and reduced but still very popular own developments with, for instance, Visual Studio C, C# applications are able to be executed on the device, and not always either or. In many cases, it's possible also to combine them. And then we need to communicate to the PLCs, and there we have typically the classic the screen communication. This is relatively simple, but on the devices you see operator controls, and on this picture not, but there are also control elements like a hand wheel, like a rotary encoder, a key switch, a push button. Also, these need to be communicated to the PLC. That picture shows it a little bit better. These operator controls have a dedicated communication to the different PLC, whether it's PLC of manufacturer A or of manufacturer B. We are in the situation to provide to you as a potential integrator or user of the device a set of possibilities how to communicate those hardware-specific components, hardware-specific elements to the PLC. Of course, the safety needs a communication as well. In most cases, it's a dedicated, discrete hardwiring. This is also extremely easy to integrate into all safety solution. And as mentioned before, visualization to the PLC. That means how to communicate the screen information. There are different ways on VNC. There is no big deal to think about that on a browser solution. The browser handles the communication to the server, to the web server, and on a third-party SCADA solution, typically the driver to the dedicated PLC is already included, but not the driver to the of the operator controls. This comes in addition with our solution. Sometimes also there is the situation to communicate from the operator control to the graphical user interface, but this is a more seldom situation. And those solutions, those software solutions combined with the different hardware solutions mentioned already a little bit, we cover four large areas. So one is to have a local operation on a machine. The next big part is to have a large machine where one could think of reducing stationary panels or reducing terminals at all. Another field is to make an application of changing from one machine to the other machine, or let's reframe the wording, to use a terminal for more than one machine. This is the personalized approach. And then there is also the use case that you as a supplier have always the same machine, but for different countries, for different markets, maybe you use different customer-specific PLC or PLC manufacturers, but you want to focus on the HMI development only for one time. Also, that situation may be covered. So let's look at some sample projects. One of them is the case that there is a large machine with a small or medium machine with a stationary panel somewhere in the central operator area, and there are some secondary work areas, and then in a standard use case, it was in a situation that the stationary panel was additionally equipped or the machine was additionally to the stationary panel equipped with smaller stationary panels. But the operator is only at position A, B, or C, never at more than one position at the same time, because it's only one operator on the machine. And the idea is there to have only one mobile HMI. Maybe it's also the situation that on the working area, the area is plus minus a few meters, and it's handy. It's good to have a mobile device in the hand, and the idea is to have provide several connection points, and that in total reduces the number of HMI devices. And although mobile devices may be from a cost perspective a little bit above stationary devices, they don't need to be mounted on the machine, and the number of terminals is reduced. So that could be also even be interesting in terms of cost reduction. Or another use case or another situation would be, and in this case, typically the so-called hot plug solution is more common or more frequent, is that we're thinking about large machines. In this case, it's a conveyor solution in a production line. And there's also one operator, and again, several stationary scattered HMIs maybe have been here before, and that could be replaced by some connection points for hot plug solutions, and with some medium-sized cables, and then the operator can go from one point to the other in order to perform his work. Another possibility, what I would like to present to you, is the application from one machine to the other. Let's assume an operator is on a dashboard. He has a mobile device in a wall mount. He then starts his control tour, sees an issue, identifies an issue at the machine, connects there. The connection point is identified via the box ID, and the correct application for that connection point starts. And whether it's PLC A or B, the dedicated keyboard interface is activated, and the communication is direct to that machine or robot. And after this problem is solved, the control tour is continued, and again at the next machine, the operator connects the terminal is again switched into safe mode. The illuminable e-stop is illuminated. That it's maybe a different PLC and a different connection is started, and then the keys on the device suddenly have a different communication channel to the PLC than in the example before. So this is a possibility how to use the device across machines and even with different applications. It could be the same application for different machines, but it could also be different applications for different machines. And the conclusion here is that not for every machine an HMI is necessary. And also for the operator, he does not need to switch from one HMI of machine A to another HMI of machine B hardware. He does not need to change the hardware, so he's already used to this hardware. It's convenient. He knows where the keys are, and he only needs to have one hardware for different PLCs. And the last example, as briefly addressed before, is when a machine is equipped with PLC A for the region, maybe Europe, and for another region, maybe Asia, it's a different PLC. It's the same HMI application, and the maintenance of the HMI application is very simple because it's only one, and in this case, it's the control interface to PLC A, and in this case, it's the interface to PLC B. So that's just a short inspiration, and this brings me to the end of the presentation. I hope I was able to give you a short insight about the variance, about the varieties of different terminals, how to be used with different devices. And I hope this inspires you a little bit in considering your specific situation. And after thinking about that, maybe you have some questions, and then you can see here the contacts, how you can address your questions to us, or if you have immediately questions, you can now put them in the Q&A section. Thank you very much for listening, and hope to see you in a project soon. Goodbye.